Hey everybody, it is Joe from the Strange Voyage Files. It is July 5th, 2026. Sorry about all the coughing in that last video. Allergies are phenomenal. Alright, so the last video I did was ranking the Kiss studio albums. I did leave off the solo albums. Figured do a nice short video of ranking those on their own. A lot of people, you see both ways. People rank the studio albums with them, without, whatever. I just figured I didn't want to put the solo albums in that video because they're so drastically different band-wise. They're not really Kiss albums. You wouldn't put Bark at the Moon in Black Sabbath. You wouldn't put Vince Neil Exposed in Motley Crue. So yes, they had the Kiss label, the makeup and everything, but were they truly Kiss albums? It's a debate you could have forever and ever. So I do have two versions of these albums. I do have the picture discs, which I think are really, really cool. This is not the order. This is not the order of ranking. Show off the picture discs first, and then I'll show the these picture discs are really beautiful. I really like these. Then we'll do our ranking. Then I was also thinking about, you can see I have Alive. Alive is my Alive 2 is my favorite Kiss live album. I was also thinking, okay, should I do live albums from Kiss? Here's the problem. Where do you stop? Because you have the 4 live albums, and in my view, it's 4, 3, 1, and 2. Those are my ranking of the Alive albums. You have Off the Soundboard. You have now you're gonna have a new one, the Kiss Destroys or Wrecks, whatever, Anaheim. You have the Unplugged. I was never a big fan of the Unplugged. There's so many different Kiss live. It's just difficult to do. I'm not gonna ever listen to all the Off the Soundboard ones. So, yeah, it probably wouldn't do it justice. So, Alive 2 is my favorite. Alive 1 comes right behind it, but this one, it's so incredible. I absolutely love Alive 2. Okay, so this morning, boy, this was kind of a challenge because I never listened to Peter and Gene's solo albums. And when I say never with Peter, I can count with one hand with fingers left over how many times I've ever listened to Peter's solo album. Gene's, periodically, I probably, I can say in 2026, I probably have, with the exception of this morning, probably have not listened to Gene's solo album all the way through. Definitely some point in 2025 I have, but it's so sporadic. So that's going to give you an idea of where these are going to go. So let's just dive right into it and probably spend more time talking about where I place these albums versus why they're in the order they are. Now, no shock, I have never seen anybody's ranking. I'm sure they're out there. Peter's is just a disaster. I don't know what he was. He talks about how he's trying to do like a callback to big band era and more like 40s music and what. I mean, there's stuff that sounds like country on here to me. Easy Thing I think was the one that I thought sounded like country. That's the kind of I didn't get through an entire song on this album. I'll put it to you this way. There was nothing. In fact, so I'm upstairs in the bedroom where I used to do all the videos. I'll still go back and do something there. My wife Megan walks in and what is this? Like Peter Criss's solo album. And then Randy comes in following my wife. She's like, yeah, this is terrible. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing on this album this is so bad. This is so bad. Yeah. Next one, again, kind of not a shocker. Gene. Now, my favorite song on this one is Radioactive. I think that's probably the consensus. See You Tonight is pretty good. I liked that one. Bring Up a Fever was okay. And then you just get into the cliches. It's just nonstop sex cliches, which is Gene. It's fine. It's cool, but the problem with Gene, where you have these types of songs, where Gene does this, he gets more focused on getting his innuendo across than writing good music. I think in that Kiss Behind the Mask book, I think it was the section on Psycho Circus where I think it's Bruce Fairbank. Don't quote me on that. One of the producers says that the big difference between Gene and Paul writing music is that Paul will take spaghetti and throw it at the wall and see what sticks, and then he'll go with what sticks, where Gene just takes the pile of spaghetti and goes, all right, here, this is good, let's just write all this. And that's absolutely here. Now, Gene tells the story also that he was very close to almost getting a Beatles reunion on this album. And I think John Lennon, again, don't quote me on this, was the holdout, or maybe it was Ringo. One of them was the holdout, or else he would have had all four of the Beatles on playing on this album. And I don't know if it was together or not. They just didn't know they were all going to be on the same song. But that was going to be, I will say, that would have been a monster hype. That would have probably been a monster lawsuit if they were fooled into doing that. Yeah, really behind. There really is kind of, the album starts okay, and it really, Radioactive's great. Burn Up with Fever is, See You Tonight I actually like. That's good. No, the rest is just kind of a bomb. Yeah. Well, See You in Your Dreams. I'll try to listen to this one again, but again, I do listen to it. It's usually when I'm doing something else. It's like, when you get that album, you're like, oh, I haven't heard that one in forever. Let me throw that on. So, if I'm registering the girls for school or something, I'll throw that on in the background. All right, the next one. This is usually people's number one. It's a great album. There is nothing bad off this album. Aces is my number two, though. There is not a bad song on this album. Rip It Out, Snowblind, Ozone, New York Groove, Fractured Mirror. Every single song on this is great. Absolutely love this album. This is the most hard rocking album. This is I don't dare to say this is the closest to Kiss. There are definitely Kiss songs that would have been written by Ace. If Ace would, and I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to stop right now, because I'm going to talk about something in a second when I get done. So, great album. Absolutely every song is great on here. Same thing with this one. This one is my favorite. This is the closest to Kiss in my mind. Paul's is the closest to Kiss. I absolutely love, the one that people either love or hate, Hold Me, Touch Me, Think of Me Tonight. I love it. Or When We're Apart, I absolutely love. Ain't Quite Right is awesome. I love Wouldn't You Like to Know Me. Tonight You Belong to Me. This is awesome. Absolutely. This is the perfect 70s Paul. Now, you do see the progression. I will say this, and remember, I think Unmasked is my second favorite Kiss album. So it makes sense that this is my favorite solo album. Okay? And I also think that the first album is my favorite, and it makes sense that this is number two. You see the progression of Paul going from writing catchy songs like I Stole Your Love and Love Gun to the songs that I like off Unmasked with this album. It is absolutely there. Now, my big thing is, if their egos and Neil Bogart not wanting to sell 4 million copies, which eventually he does sell. Each one of these sells 1 million copies. They ship platinum and then they get sent back. But eventually, over years, they do all sell 1 million copies. What does this one say? Out of print. This is the first issue. Custom label, custom sleeve. I've been listening to the picture disc when I listen to this, and again, listen to a lot of the things on my computer. So in this, I gotta get another. I was just looking at them last night. This thing is awesome for CDs, the radio. I don't really listen to tapes, but I got this little JBL speaker, which makes it sound so much better. The turntable sucks. So what's in here? Oh, I know what it is. It's the custom label. They're just saying, well, they all had their faces on there. And then it had this. They came with a poster, didn't they? Gosh darn, all that. Guys are. Yeah, this thing. Oh, this is the custom sleeve. So the custom sleeve I got. I'm picking up what it's throwing down, but this is the first edition. That's pretty cool. Got this at a record store. I believe Record Wonderland. Could be wrong. Yeah. Or no, maybe, you know what? I may have gotten this one at Hip Cat Records. Another great store in the Chicagoland area. I've been there in a few years. No, one of the two places I got it. At any rate, okay, so what I was going to get into is, I'll put this together later. If their egos were in check, and Neil Bogart, again, wanted money, and they wanted money. They all wanted, hey, we all have our own million-selling album. Nice little paycheck. They could have pulled songs, except for Peter, I'm just going to be honest with you, and had a pretty damn good Kiss album. Radioactive could have been a monster lead-off single for a Kiss album. Yes, a lot of people hate it, but Hold Me, Kiss Me, whatever, Love Me Tonight. I'll never get that whole title right, and I love that song. I listen to it all the time, actually. Could have been the next Beth. Ozone. Rip It Out. I mean, if they could have gotten their act together, and instead of saying, I want to beat the next guy, because none of these albums are recognized in, you have to take out the diehard Kiss fans. And in the realm of Kiss, the general public, it's Love Gun, it's Destroyer, it's Rock and Roll Over, it's the first album, it's Hotter Than Hell, it's Dressed to Kill. It's those albums. Nobody in the general public goes, man, the Ace solo album. Kiss fans, more diehard Kiss fans, yes. So they probably would have gotten, yes, and again, so you have 4 million here. Would a Kiss album like that sold 4 million copies? When you look at the other ones, probably not. But we would have had another awesome Kiss album instead of 4 albums where, in my opinion, 2 are pretty darn good and 2 are pretty much waste. Could have had 2 or 3 albums with the amount of material. But nobody was going to tell them that this isn't a good idea. You know, and they have said it. Paul has said it a million times, that their egos were so out of control. Gene has said it. And at this point in time, Ace and Peter are so coked out of their minds, nobody can even listen to it. You know, they won't listen to anybody. So, were the solo albums a misstep? Yes, in my opinion, because I think you could have taken these great songs and come up, and they could have been spread out through a few great Kiss albums. Let's just look at what followed. Now, again, I like half of Dynasty. I love Unmasked. The vast majority of you watching this video will say either Dynasty sucks, It's Okay, and Unmasked sucks. So for us, for the fans who do like these albums, and most of us are in agreement that Ace is great, Paul either people love or they think is okay. Again, some people hate it. Gene and Peter's fall to the wayside, but there's material that could have been plucked that would have given us another couple of great Kiss albums. So that's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Was this the way to go? I think it was a misstep. and then again, it fractures the band even more. So, I mean, if you want to go from that point of view, when Ace comes back and his is the most successful, because and again, Gene and Paul will outright admit it, they were laughing him off. Ace is going to go, yeah, let's see what Ace's album does. Well, Ace's album does pretty darn well. And New York Groove is the biggest hit out of all four. Nobody could tell them no. I'm going to really stress this. It really is like George Lucas's ex-wife, Marsha was her name? I could be wrong. I could be getting that wrong. She sadly passed away. She was his sounding board on the first 3 movies. That's why they're so good. Then you get to the prequels, and I mean, Revenge of the Sith is great. I think the first 2, Phantom Menace, is okay, and I think Attack of the Clones sucks because nobody could say no to this guy. Nobody could say this is not a good idea. Nobody would say no to these 4. And that was a big problem. So, I think it was a misstep. I think these songs could have gone on 2, maybe 3 other great Kiss albums. But, who knows? All right, well, let me know what you think. What are your ranking of these 4 albums? What do you think were the solo albums a good idea? Were they a bad idea? Where do you think that and what does it, what's the legacy of these albums in history? Let me know. All right, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see you. Oh yeah, what are your favorite live albums? Why not?